icon, there should be, if it's on, if it's off, there's like a strike through the icon, the camera icon. If it's on.
Yeah, I'm not even, oh, there it is. Okay. Never, Skype is made before. Okay, hi. Okay.
Oh, there you are.
All right, so
bye.
We're connected. Bye. Just tell me if I need to back up or.
Oh, no.
Okay,
Looks good.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Hi.
Hey, Clay, right?
Yeah. How are you? Nice to meet you too.
You okay?
Yeah, everything looks great.
Excellent.
Yeah. See those dogs in the background?
Yeah, yeah, that's the dog I did my last book on, Luca. He's like part of my family now. And these are the service dogs. This is my daughter painted. It's just my whole bulletin board full of stuff.
Oh, nice.
Keep company in my little cottage in the backyard.
That's great. Where are we talking to you from?
San Francisco.
Oh, great. Nice.
Yeah, we live 2 blocks from the beach, and it gets, it's always foggy here.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
so hopefully it's not too gray. It has some light because it was really dark.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's okay now.
Yeah. So we'll just...
And I should talk to
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's looking great. And we'll just talk for about 10 minutes. Then we'll edit this down to the best 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll get it ready for pub date.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the book is interesting, but I'm also really interested in your career because I have interviewed a lot of writers, and you have a really unique niche or beat. So tell me how you got started writing about dogs.
I was a journalist. I went to school for journalism. I worked for USA Today for 7 years. And when I had my human child, I backed out of that a little bit and started writing about dogs. I love dogs. I started doing guidebooks to dogs in California, and they were a huge hit. I went all over the state, and that became a national series. And then I was doing things for Dogster. I was their news editor of all things. Dogster has a news editor, and that was a lot of fun, as well as all my freelance writing. And then the Bin Laden raid hit in 2011, and I had been thinking about doing something with military dogs. I had been writing articles for Dogster, but not anything too deep. And I realized this was the time, because when we went after Osama bin Laden, there was a Navy SEAL team that had a dog with it. And that really made people go crazy for the idea that dogs is the military. And so I struck right at the right time, and I was able to make that book happen in a record 4.5 months somehow. And it was great, and I loved it. I love the research. I love what I do. I'm really lucky to do what I do.
Oh, that's great. And so, but it's not just that you sort of hit upon this beat, but that, you know, you've managed to find new angles, and you've sort of kept this beat going, right? I mean, you have several books. So what, you know, you finished this first book in 4 months. What made you keep with this storyline?
I found that there was very little about military dogs or working dogs in general, and I loved it. I thrive in the world of dogs, and the military. My dad was a young soldier in World War II, and he was homesick oftentimes when he was 18. He was a kid, and he had told me when I was a kid that dogs helped him. Military dogs there helped him whenever he felt homesick. They seemed to know, and they'd come up to him, and during the day they'd help people by saving lives, and at night they'd save souls. So it was just sort of in my upbringing and in my soul that I wanted to keep going with these dogs, and I loved it. So I came across a dog named Luca, who I met her handler actually for my first book, and that continued on this book about this amazing military hero and all the Marines and all the people in her life, and the story needed to be told. She's an incredible, she's a hero by any standards, 4-legged, 3-legged, which she is, 2-legged, anything. And I'm passionate about it. And then I started wondering, well, what could be my next book? And a lot of the military people work with, the handlers work with the Secret Service on certain events like UN General Assembly. And I was wondering, I wonder if the Secret Service has dogs. And sure enough, they do. And sure enough, pretty much nothing had been written about them. So I was entering familiar territory of unfamiliarity. And I decided this is the next book I want to write. But it was a long time before the Secret Service said yes to that one.
Yeah.
It took.
Because I was in that house, like, you know, called Secret Service for a reason, right? They don't.
Yeah, exactly. It took 9 months from my asking the Secret Service and presenting my credentials, which are pretty good for a book like that, to them saying yes. They were going through a lot of changes, and they weren't in a big rush to do it. They wanted to make sure they were going to do it right and it would stick. And I'm grateful for that, but I could have had a baby in the time that it took to say yes. And then of course, my deadline was much shorter. I've been working with the same editor at Dutton for all 3 of these books. I love it. But we were kind of twiddling our thumbs going, is this going to work? Oh my gosh, what if it doesn't? And it was great. It worked. I hit the road and spent the majority of the last part of 2015 in DC, kind of embedded with the Secret Service, as it were, and seeing things that were just amazing. And every day I'm going, I get paid to do this? This is phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah.
And then comes the writing part, and you go, oh, okay, that's harder.
Right. And the Secret Service has had some scandals, so they were probably publicity shy, right? I would imagine.
Yeah, the Secret Service is not known for opening its door to people writing books about them, and there have been problems, issues with the Secret Service. A minority of people who work there, a vast minority, the majority are, from what I've seen, are extremely hardworking, extraordinarily dedicated. But of course, what gets the headline are the scandals. And I'm happy to say, their motto is that the dogs are worthy, that they're worthy of trust and confidence. That's what the Secret Service is. But I definitely found that the dogs and the handlers are worthy of trust and confidence. And no dogs, to my knowledge, have been involved in any scandals. So
nice. And so in the new book, is there a story or a dog? And I mean, you write about various situations and stories here, but is there one that sort of, do you have a favorite?
Do I have a favorite dog or story? If I say I have a favorite, the rest of the dogs won't talk to me anymore, and I became friends with them all. So, but there are definitely some that stand out, and one of them is Hurricane. He is the dog who starts the book. He's the one you'll meet throughout the book with his equally personable handler, Marshall, and they start and finish the book, and they have an amazing adventure. Hurricane is an emergency response team dog. Basically, he's a tactical canine. So they're the ones stationed in front of the White House who are there to stop anyone from getting into the White House. And they're a less than lethal force. So I've never seen training like what they go through. They are incredible dogs. And Hurricane, I'm not going to give away his story because I have to keep you going, but it's an incredible story. And he took a beating while he was doing his job, and he kept doing his job. These dogs love what they do. And the best dogs like Hurricane have this on-off switch where they can be on, they can be getting that bad guy and all over him and risking their lives and willingly, happily going into the fight. And then afterward, hey, I feel like a belly rub. And once they calm down, he's all about belly rubs, that dog is. And there are all kinds of characters I met in the dogs and the handlers. And there's a little guy named Rhodey who's actually out in the public in front of the White House. He does his patrols there. He's a scruffy little scrappy terrier mix, and he has some real quirks. And I'll leave it at that. But there are so many. Every one of those dogs left an impression on me.
So I would, mentioning this terrier, I was surprised to learn in the book, because you normally think of sort of guard dogs as German shepherds or sort of equally kind of stout and big dogs, but there's dogs like this terrier who are sort of scrappy and sort of look like mutts, who make it onto the sort of elite teams. How do they, I know this, you could talk about this for hours, but briefly, how do they pick dogs to make it into the Secret Service?
There are 2 basic programs for the dogs. One involves just sniffing. They're sniffing for explosives. The other is being badass, basically protecting the president, the vice president, visiting dignitaries, the Pope, with what they have, with their muscle, with their brawn. And so the terriers, the labs, they're the sniffers. They're the ones out in the public eye. And the other guys are more behind the scenes. And the main dogs they have now are Belgian Malinois, or Belgian Malinois mixed with shepherds. And they're really smart. They're super hardworking, and they can go forever. And they have great noses. So that's the primary dog. And then for the more friendly dog programs, they call it, the dogs who are in front of the White House and other places where they interface with the public, they'll be the floppy ear dogs. So well, the terrier doesn't have floppy ears, but he fits. And there's a great Springer Spaniel. They get all their dogs from a vendor in Indiana, Von Kennels, and they go to Indiana at least once a month to go pick dogs. It's very hard to find the right dogs for the Secret Service. They need the cream of the crop, the best dogs, and they're in competition with a lot of very big agencies out there for these dogs. So, and they go and they will return the dog if the dog isn't just what they need. And they sometimes will go through 2 or 3 dogs for a handler before they get the right one. Those dogs from Indiana are procured from vendors in Europe. So that's where most of the police dog sports are. It's been going on for a really long time. So these dogs have come a long way before they actually get to protect the president and everyone else.
And they're not really even American.
This is true. They're not going to run for president.
So, working out, I mean, I know you're just starting to do PR about this book, but another book about dogs?
Yeah, I can't really talk about it right now. I've been influenced by the Secret Service, but yeah, I am working on something. I just developing something new, but we'll see. We'll see. I'd love to work with my editor again, and we're in talks.
Nice. Well, congrats.
Did you want to know more about? I don't know if you can see Belgian Malinois.
Nice.
You know, if they sit, if a dog like this sits at the White House, the president could be prevented from leaving the White House, or may have to go into another room, or may not be able to re-enter the White House because the dog sat.
Wow.
And that means that there's a bomb, maybe, or just some scent of something. And so just because a dog like this sits, it affects the president. So I find that amazing.
Yeah. Could you take my dogs? They need some military discipline and put them into the
Sure, I take all dogs. What kind of dogs do you have?
I have 2 rescue dogs. One is actually a Hurricane Katrina dog. So she is a little on the elderly side. She's a border collie. Her name is Ethel. And Lucy is a lab. And they both came from the hill country of Texas outside of Austin. So.
Wow. Oh, that's wonderful. Good for you. So is she getting older too?
Yeah, the lab is a little bit more active. She has mast cell tumors, which is like a dermatological cancer, but I mean, you would never know. Like, she is as active as can be and doesn't really seem that affected by the cancer. So
it's great. They can live a long, long time with that, especially if it's not that aggressive kind, which I don't think that is.
No, wow. It's amazing. Yeah.
We have a lab too. He's actually, I got him through a man that I wrote about in my last book. So I know you have other people to talk to, but he's a war dog, memorial dog, and he's a yellow lab. And his handler was, well, his father created him because his son died in Iraq with his yellow lab dog, and it's an honor to have this little puppy. Yeah. I got him with a month to go on my deadline for the book, which wasn't the best timing.
Right.
2 months dog, but anyway.
Yeah. No, that's insane. Well, let me tell you, so in addition to my work for Kirkus, I'm the program director of the San Antonio Book Festival, which is in April. And I love the book, and I might send an invitation to you to attend. We'd be happy to pay for your flight and hotel, and you would come and talk about the book and sell some books.
Are there panels?
Yeah, there are panels. I used to be the program director of the Texas Book Festival, which is one of the really big ones, before I joined Kirkus. And that's 2 days, and there's like, I think 300 writers. This is, San Antonio is smaller. It's 1 day, and there's about 100 writers. So you would probably not be on a panel. You would be on your own with a moderator who would ask you questions, or you could give a talk or whatever. So.
No, that'd be fun. I'd love any excuse to travel as long as I'm not out of the country on research. That would be fun. I'm doing the Tucson Festival of Books, I guess, in March.
Yeah.
Yeah, me on a panel. I've never done a panel. I don't know what that is, but it's something fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna moderate at that one next year. Yeah. So, and that's about 3 weeks before San Antonio, or a month before San Antonio. So
that's great. I wonder if you can get any dogs up from Lackland. I mean, if this is about more than just Secret Service dogs, Lackland's right there. So
yeah, and actually there's a number of military bases in and around San Antonio, so there might be some tie-in with them that we could do. I'm not sure, but anyway, I'll go through your publicist, but I just wanted to mention it to you.
Sure. No, I would definitely be interested. I love San Antonio. I need
Yeah.
me some barbecue. So,
Yeah.
where are you?
I'm in Austin.
You're in Austin.
Yeah, so, and San Antonio is only about an hour away, so I'm like most of the time here for Kirkus, and then I go occasionally to San Antonio. So.
How many of these do you have to do a day when you do them? These
Do what?
How many interviews do you do a day?
Oh, I actually only do a few a week. Yeah, I assign most of the interviews and I edit them, but these video interviews I only do about once a week. So.
Oh, I see, the video interviews. So you do regular, like, pen and paper or whatever?
Yeah,
interviews.
we do print interviews, but we save the video interviews for sort of bestsellers.
Great. So I guess, does that mean that you guys aren't panning me? That I got an interview?
Yeah, it's positive, and yeah, it's good.
Great. You don't know when. So this, I guess my publicist will let me know when this is up, but thank you. And I would love to go to San Antonio. That would be fun. So.
Okay, great. Well, I will get word here.
You need? We're okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all perfect. So.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Well.
So we're seeing Tucson, I guess.
Yeah. See you there.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Have a good day. Bye-bye.